Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Roxanne and in today's video I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to do a knit and chat. So I've been watching a lot of knit and chats on Well Love Knits channel and I really like the idea. I think it's really relaxing, so I'm hoping that this video is going to be like that for you. So I would recommend for you to take a cup of coffee or tea and grab your knits and just start working on your work in progress alongside with me. And so before explaining to you what I'm going to be working on, I want to talk about in this video my struggle to start a small business here in France. It's actually almost over, I think, so now it's gonna be, the fun is gonna be starting, but yeah, it's been almost 2.5 months and yeah, it has been an adventure. So before I get into that, I wanted to just show you what I'm going to be working on. So there's a plane flying like just on top of my house, so I hope you won't be hearing it, but so yeah, I wanted to show you. I am currently working on this cardigan. I think the pattern's name is curcuma cardigan, but I don't remember who made it, so I'm gonna link everything in the description down below. But basically I wanted to make this cardigan for my mom as a birthday present, but it was 2 months ago, so I think now it's just gonna be a regular present for when this cardigan's over. Basically I am starting it, well, this is the new piece that I made because I already started one that was way too big, and it's like I was in Montreal when I started working on this cardigan and my mom was in France, so she just sent me her measurements and I did a swatch with this yarn, and it was like smaller than the swatch that was described in the pattern, so I just made all the math and stuff, and it was like supposed to be like very precise and stuff, and I decided I would do a 2 size bigger cardigan to get approximately the right side, and so this was from my swatch. I decided to do that, and so I was into it. I did like the entire top part, and then I went back to France and I decided I wanted to have my mom try it on to see if the top part was long enough or if I needed to just like make it longer, and it was like way too big by 2 sizes, so I should have made on the first try the right size, but I don't know what happened with this swatch, so I had to start over again, and it was really frustrating because this part here with the pattern is like very long. It takes a lot of time and the result is very pretty, but I like to knit stuff fast, so I was very discouraged at first, and I realized it was way too big, like 2 weeks before her birthday, so it was literally impossible for me to finish it on time. So I took my time and I'm still working on it now. I still don't have the entire top part done. I think far from it. I still need to have at least maybe 10 or 15 centimeter centimeters more for the top part to be long enough. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna be working on right now. So I hope you grabbed a knit or something, or crochet or anything, and I hope this part of the video is gonna be relaxing or something, because it is relaxing for me, and I would really appreciate if I could recreate this feeling for you. So yeah, so what I wanted to talk about, it's we have in France this procedure to start a small business that is supposed to be super simple, like 100% online, and you get your unique identification number in 2 weeks. So this number, I don't know how it works in other countries, but this number is basically what you need to, that's the number that identifies your small business. So it's very important, it's mandatory. And so I really wanted to do that, to do this procedure, to have a small business. It was really something that I wanted for a long time, or even before I was into knitting and crocheting, just because I do a bit of painting and a bit of drawing, and I wasn't sure what I would like to sell, but I was sure I wanted to sell something, so to try and sell something. So opening a small business has been on my mind for quite some time, and when I started knitting and crocheting, when COVID hit, I was like, okay, this is really what I want to do, you know. And I went to Montreal for 7 or 8 months, and I couldn't start a small business, so I really was imagining when I would come back to France, me starting that small business. So the day I went back to France, it was the 26th of April. That day I was like at home in the morning, and in the evening my entire file was done for it. So the file was, I needed to send that file to some company, some public company that handles all this kind of thing. And so I just took all the papers that were needed, and I sent the file the same day I went back to France. And I was very happy, because I was like, in my mind, in 2 weeks I'm gonna receive my identification number, and I'm gonna be able to start selling online, or at least opening my shop, you know. And so I created an account on Shopify. I started working on designing the website. I started making stocks of scrunchies, bucket hats, stuff like that. And it went quite smoothly the 2 first weeks, and then the free trial for Shopify ended, because Shopify, like, you have 2 weeks of free trial, and then you have to select a plan to keep modifying your website and eventually sell on that website. So I didn't pay for the website at first, so 2 weeks after I sent the file, this trial ended, and I couldn't keep working on the website. And so when this happened, I actually hadn't received any kind of email or mail about this small business, and I was like, it's not quite normal. I should have received something. Like, they say it's a 2-week procedure. So I called them, and they said that I should wait for a bit more time, They had my file, but it hadn't been processed yet. So I said, okay, I'm gonna wait, and in the meantime make more stocks and yeah, keep working on my stuff and work on my YouTube channel. And another week passed, another, and like I decided to call them again, and they still told me, yeah, your file's been processed and you just need to wait a bit more. So I waited again, and I called them once I hit like 6 weeks without any information. So I waited one more week, and I called them again saying, well, what's happening? It's supposed to be a 2 weeks procedure, and now I've been waiting for 6 weeks and nothing happened. And so the company I was calling told me to call another company that was supposed to handle my file, because as I'm making stuff, these things are going to this enterprise, to this company. So I call them and they tell me, yeah, it's strange. If you still haven't received some kind of identification number, it means that you probably, your file has been probably rejected. And I was like, what? Couldn't you send me an email if my file is rejected, and why is it rejected? And the girl on the phone, and she was very kind, she tells me that, oh, if you didn't receive any email to inform you that your file was rejected, it probably means that your file wasn't rejected, but there was like a missing document or some kind of stuff like that. And so she looked into my file, and yeah, there was a missing document. Because I am living at my parents' house, I needed to include my father or my mother's identification card, and I didn't. So she told me, yeah, send it to me and I'm just going to forward your file so that it can be processed. And I was okay, thank you, but in my mind, like, why did nobody tell me that there was a piece missing in my file? Like, my file was just sitting on some desk or something for 6 weeks, and nobody thought that they could just tell me, and I would have sent this ID card. So this was just the beginning. Then, what happened then? Yeah, so then I received, maybe 1 week and a half later, I received a strange email from the first company I was talking to that were saying something that, so this email was talking about something I didn't understand, so I called that company again, and they told me, yes, if you received that, that means your file has been rejected. And I was like, okay, why is it rejected? Because like, they didn't tell anything about why it was rejected, and it was very pissing me off, you know. And so they told me that there was this whole document that I needed to fill, you know, with blank cases and stuff to, well, whatever. So there was this whole document that I needed to fill, and there was this part where I needed to describe what I was going to do in my small business. And so I wrote something like knitting and crocheting clothing pieces and sewing stuff, accessories. And there was this box just under this like texts that I needed to tick, and I ticked something like online shop, you know, uh, selling products like on an online shop. And they told me that the issue was that in the description I didn't say that I was making this stuff for an online shop. But in the box below I ticked something like selling stuff on an online shop, you know, and in my mind when I read that I was sure that this would, yeah, it was clear that I was making stuff for an online shop, but I was supposed to put in the activity stuff that I needed to make stuff for an online shop and then tick online shop. So they told me to start to make a new file again, and so that this first file was rejected. So the same day, I think it was in June, I don't remember when, but the same day I sent this new file with like everything in it. This time I had the right description for the activity of my small business, and I had my father's ID card, and I had everything. So I was like, okay, so now in 2 weeks I'm gonna receive something, you know. And this time I did receive an email like, yeah, we received your file, we're gonna process it. And okay, so I was like, okay, this is going better. And so I waited 1 week, and then I received a strange email from some lady at the company, and she was like, yeah, you're missing some pieces on your application. Here is a link to your account, and here are the credentials. You just need to connect to it, and you can see you're gonna be able to see your files, but in the meantime you need to send me the documents that you're missing. And so I guessed she was talking about my new file, since the previous one was rejected. But when I signed in on this account, the previous file was like not rejected, and I could modify it and add some new documents, but the new file was like being processed, and so there was no like rejected file. And I wrote to her, which file are you talking about? Are you talking about the first file from April or the second file from June? Because the file from April is supposed to be rejected, but I can't see it on the website. And she told me that she was talking about the first file. And I was like, okay, you know, I have 2 files, I don't want to open 2 small businesses, so what's going on? Can I delete 1 file? And I sent her the documents that were missing. And she tells me that I should not worry, that 1 file is going to be processed, like the file is going to be processed 1 at a time, so they're not going to process 2 files. So she tells me again, send me those documents, and I was like, yeah, I just sent them to you in my previous email. And then she was like, oh, but you are supposed to send them by mail to another company. And I was like, okay, why? It's supposed to be like this online procedure and stuff. I never heard of physically mailing documents to any company. So she told me, yeah, so this company only accepts original documents, so you need to. And so I needed to send those documents by mail, so I sent her where should I send them so that it doesn't like arrive at some place it shouldn't, and she never answered to that. So a few days went by, and I was like, I need to come physically to that company to finally be able to talk to someone and have somebody to help me with the procedure, but I didn't have the time. So a few days later I received an email telling me that my file was rejected, and so I went to the website and I saw that it was my new file this time that was rejected. So she told me that the files were only processed one at a time, but the other file was processed. So yeah, I don't understand that, but so I received then another email telling me why my file was rejected and basically what I needed to do if I wanted this file to be processed again. So it was just because I was missing 3 documents. 2 of them were like, okay, I get it, but it was never asked of me before, so they could have just said somewhere that I needed to provide these documents, and they didn't. But okay, so I was like, yeah, I can send that. But then there was this document, and it was some kind of justification of my marital status. So like if I am married or not. And so I'm not, so I was like, okay, what kind of document should I provide to say that I am not married? Like, I have a boyfriend, but I'm not married. And I was like, why do I have to provide that? Because there is this status that I can ask for, at least for my boyfriend or for a husband or a wife. We can ask for a status so that this person helps us in the small business without getting paid. But the status can only be obtained if we are married to that person. And I'm not, so I didn't ask for it, and so I didn't understand why I needed to provide that document. So I lost a bit my mind on that at that moment, and I decided that I wanted to go to the company in person. And I was like, okay, because last week was our National Day in France, so everything was closed, then I had some things to do, so I couldn't go. But I was like, yeah, okay, this week, like Monday or Tuesday, I'm gonna go physically and get things done, hopefully. And on Monday, my mom, which works at the city hall, had a contact in that company, and she called him and she explained the issue, and he gave my mom a number of someone that could potentially help me. And so this person called my mom back, and they said that they didn't know what happened with my file, that obviously everything was there, like all the documents that were necessary were, they had them. So they had all the documents that were necessary. So they said they created a new file with like documents from my previous files. She took like one document from the first, one document from the last, and everything that was like that I sent in between. And she created that new file, and like she sent it into processing, and like it was in the afternoon, and in the evening I received a temporary identification number, and my file was sent to all the companies that needed all the documents to actually give me the final identification for my small business. So fingers crossed, in 1 week or 2 weeks I'm going to receive by mail my final identification number. But normally everything's good now. So I finally have everything to start working on this small business. And I am so happy. It's been 2 months and a half and finally I'm getting somewhere. So I hope I'm not going to be disappointed if like in 2 weeks I still haven't received anything, but I already have like something, this temporary identification number, and yeah, so I think now I can start really working on my stuff. Like opening the small business and stuff. So I paid Shopify, and yesterday I spent the whole day like adding all my products and working on the pictures and everything, and yeah, I'm really happy, and I hope everything goes well from now on. I hope I'm going to receive the credentials for the small business account stuff that I need to do, and I hope everything's gonna be okay now. But it has been quite a challenging and annoying adventure, because I have a friend that got his identification number like in 2 weeks, like they promised, like, and yeah, this kind of things always happen to me, so I'm not that surprised. But now I think everything's gonna be okay, and I hope so, and I can start working on the interesting stuff. And so I will be working on making some more products, because yeah, with time, like during the 2 weeks and a half, I lost a bit of motivation in working on my stock. So I have some stuff, but I don't have that much, and I would like to add more. And yeah, there are lots of things that I want to work on, and I really hope to receive that number soon. And I think I needed to talk about this. I mean, like, it was so frustrating that yeah, I needed to talk about it, explain what happened, and I hope this was a little bit entertaining to you, and that, or at least like you had a good time listening to me talking. And I'm gonna be probably updating you all on this small business stuff like in the coming weeks, maybe make another event chat video if I have enough to talk about. But yeah, I guess this is gonna be all for today's video. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. It would really make my day, and I hope I'm gonna see you all in my next video.
I can't believe you're here. Can't get any worse. No. I just wanna get out of here. I find it so hard to breathe. 'Cause when you get too close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew.